From Tally to Cali, it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Coming up on today's show, busy weekend for the Noles, lots of dubs we discuss. And then I asked Corey, hey, you want to force the football? He's like, yeah. Then we talk about football for like 30 minutes. You're welcome. Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Follow them on Instagram, CumminsLifestyle. Get involved in our weekly mailbag show to get an entry into an end of off-season grand prize drawing for an ultimate tailgate giveaway. 20 folks tailgating, you included. Tickets to the game, obviously. Hotel room, drinks, food, bartender. It's all set up for you. They'll break it down. It's awesome. It's all set up by our great friends over at Cummins. Get involved over at WarChant.com's Travel Council when we do the mailbag show. And again, follow them on Instagram, CumminsLifestyle. Check out all the awesome things you can do when you've got reliable, portable, quiet power. In your garage, in your back porch, wherever you need your portable power, everybody. The boat, the RV. You know what it's all about. Cummins Lifestyle. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Thumbs up, rate, review. Good weekend for the Noles. Good weekend for the Noles. And we start off hopefully another good week here on Wake Up Warchant. We welcome in Corey Clark, per usual. Corey Clark, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Aslan. I'm going to need you to bring the energy a little bit.
All right.
I don't know what's going on there. You had an okay weekend, I hope, too, right? I trust you had a good weekend?
Yeah. It was good. All we went home to Tampa. Myself and Abby went home. So she got to meet a couple more layers of my friend group. So that way she's not meeting them for the first time around a dinner table, right, thanking them for attending the wedding. So that was cool. My buddy down in St. Pete throws this Mardi Gras block party. And it was good. It was good. Like, authentic Creole cuisine, which, by the way, I found out, Corey, I can eat shrimp etouffee. I always thought that there was pork in etouffee, especially, crawfish etouffee, but there isn't. Okay, right. There's not. So that was awesome because I was like, all this food.
Etouffee is awesome. Don't sleep on it. It's one of the lost. It's not lost, but I feel like it's a slept-on Cajun delicacy. Yeah. People talk about the jambalaya and the gumbo and red beans and rice.
Right.
Etouffee, man, can't go wrong.
I liked it a lot. So, what did you do this weekend?
Went to Athens with my son, Athens, Georgia. Watched a
Kirby giving him some looks.
Yeah, no, watched a Georgia baseball game, and then kind of just hung out, worked out. Just a sleepy little weekend here in the northern suburbs of Atlanta.
Okay, well, lots was going on for Florida State.
Yeah,
I think on the whole, a really good weekend for Florida State athletics. I know it didn't end the way we wanted on Sunday afternoon with the Eddie C. Moore Shriners Invitational down there in Clearwater, the softball. But I do think we should probably start with softball. They had, I think, they went 2-2 down there in Clearwater this past weekend. We talked about the game they lost, the opener against Texas Tech 3-2. They roared back though, and they were able to beat FAU 9-5. They were down 4-1 at one point. I think Ashton Daniels and the freshman Hind both had home runs to help propel them back. Then they faced off against top 10 UCLA, and Beecham went off 5 ribbies. Issa Torres with a 2-run homer. They took down UCLA 11-7. Sunday, though, they fought the Tennessee 9-1, 3-run homer in the first inning for the Vols, and they really didn't kind of look back. But, what did we learn about Lonnie and her team, and how good do we feel about them moving forward after a 2-2 showing in Clearwater?
I'll be honest, I didn't think we were going to start with softball, with the baseball opener and the basketball. But, hey, that's why you love this show. You never know what's going to happen. Look, I think the biggest takeaways – the biggest positive takeaways from that weekend for Lonnie's team is that the freshmen can really play. Like, they were not overwhelmed. And even Kennedy, they had to face Kennedy for 2 batters, and it was both against true freshmen. One popped up, didn't get overwhelmed, and the other one flew out to the fence for a double play where it was like a foot away from being a go-ahead homer. And then those same, Anna Hind, the catcher / DH, I guess, had a big day against UCLA. Marin Heller is could be like the next superstar at Florida State, it would appear. She's really good in the field, and also had like 3 doubles down there against the best competition they've probably ever seen, at least on the college scene. So good. Tennessee beat the bejesus out of them on Sunday. Florida State did not pitch Jazzy Franczyk, who right now, this is the good takeaway is the freshman fit right in. Sturgis, the left fielder Griggs, Anaheim, Heller, really good freshman class that can hit. And you still assume, I hope this isn't a Cam Leiter situation again, Lonnie, that Kennedy Harp will be playing softball in a Florida State uniform very soon. And once you add that piece to the lineup that's already a good one, well, now you're talking about, probably one of the best offenses in the United States, maybe the best, when you're getting All-American back, considering they scored 11 runs off UCLA without her. And they went 2-2 down there without her. Run-ruled FAU, I think, without her, and are 8-2 on the season without her. You need to get her in the mix, though, here soon. The bad news is Jazzy Franczyk can pitch. We knew that. We know that. I think we think Ashton Daniels can pitch. She's had success at this level. But other than that, there's still some question marks. They started McKenna Reed on Sunday against Tennessee. That didn't go well. Not much, honestly, has gone well for her in the circle in 3 years. That I just don't know that you can trust her in postseason. So you have Jazzy Franczyk. I think the Bella Dimitra, I'm not even trying to pronounce her last name.
I will. I'll try to do it here.
But yeah, give it a go. But
my buddy's married to a Serbian woman, so this looks Slavic. Dimitrijevic.
Okay, there you go.
Bella Dimitrijevic.
Just a freshman, way too early to know. I think she's got some stuff to her, though, which is good. We know Ashton Daniels can go. But what's concerning is that Jazzy Franczyk right now is like 5-0 with a 1.04 ERA for Florida State. The rest of the staff is 3-2 with an ERA over 5. Now, granted, some of that is against the Tennessees and the UCLAs and the Texas Techs of the world. So let's keep it. Let's keep our heads about us. But that's not great right now when you only have one pitcher that seemingly you can count on. But like Lonnie said, that's what February is for. Trying to figure out, build up confidence, build up routines, and assuming because she's a good coach and it's a good program, these players will all improve too. So all in all, a good weekend, man. 2-2. Your two losses were to the number 1 team in the country and the number 4 team in the country, and you lost to the number 1 team in the country by like a foot. So all in all, a good weekend for them.
By the way, you said McKenna Reed 3 years. I actually looked at this before we jumped on air because if it's felt like that, I felt like she had this standout freshman season, and then we haven't seen that level of production. But so in 23, she was 13-0. 2020, their ERA went up nearly 2 full runs in 2024, but she was still 12-1.
Yeah, but
then last year she
played on a good team.
Right.
I'm looking at the ERA and the strikeout numbers in the innings more than the record.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck and looking at the back of my baseball card in 1992.
Yeah, like it's the 80s up in
Shake
here.
it off. I'll shake it off. But yeah, man, we'll see. I wonder if I thought Mimi Gooden was like a possible option for them to be like reliable.
She hasn't even pitched yet. I don't know if she's hurt or what's going on there, but she hasn't even pitched yet.
All right. Well, that is what happened down there in the circle. So let's pivot to the diamond then, shall we? Florida State baseball. They were not able to get their entire series in against the Dukes of James Madison, but they were able to go 2 up and 2 down. They won both games that they were able to get in this past weekend. They won opening day Friday 5-1. Saturday they roared back and were able to roll the Dukes 16-5. I think everybody probably, if you're on social media, you probably saw Miles Bailey's home run on Friday, which was the first pitch I think he saw of the season, Corey. Which I don't know.
First swing.
What were you doing there if you're the pitcher? Like, were you like, we're gonna challenge this guy, or like he's gonna sit on the first one? He's not, but he actually scorched that one clearly. Mendez goes 5 innings, scoreless, 7 Ks in 5 innings. So that game, though, 5-1 final sounds like a comfortable, rocking chair win in Jeff Cameron show parlance. But it got a little bit tight. There was a 2-1 game late in the game, and then of all people, and I don't say of all people, but like Noah Sheffield's a guy that was always kind of like the third or fourth person I felt like Link would mention this offseason when we talk about options. He would, he would talk about Stutzer or Kelvin Paulino or, Carter McCulley's looked better, Jace Estes. And he's like, hey, Noah Sheffield's in the mix too. Can't forget about Noah Sheffield. Noah Sheffield delivers a 2 RBI hit, part of a 3-run inning to give him that 5-1 win. I guess let's just start there on Friday, even though he ended up having a really solid game on Saturday as well. How impressed, I guess, were you with Sheffield's clutchness and just Miles Bailey's power and the way Mendez and company looked?
Yeah, I was more impressed with the pitching, obviously. They had 2 runs going into the bottom of the 8th inning against James Madison. So it wasn't a good start. You could tell Link was a little bummed out by how they hit on Friday night. Didn't like some of the approaches. Stutzer went 0 for 5 with an ugly K.
I don't think Mike Trout ever did that in college.
No, that's true. That's true. Hey, he still got more college at-bats than Mike Trout ever got. But, yeah, so not the start you wanted from him. But, yeah, I think Mendez looked fine. He looked sharp-ish. Again, it's hard to judge, right, because – I don't know. Like, it's James Madison, and I'm not trying to diminish what they've done. But they won like 13 games last year, 15 games last year. They've been a decent program at times, but I don't know what they are, and you don't know what kind of bats you're facing. Mendez will clearly face better competition as the season goes on, but you got everything you wanted out of your Friday night starter. What was a bummer about the weekend is that Trey Beard didn't pitch at all because he was sick. He had an illness. And then what's it? Bryson Moore, is that his name?
Yes.
Did I make that up?
No.
Bryson Moore didn't look good. Couldn't get out of the second inning. He started game 2. So Mendez. I don't even know if Mendez is not. He's not on the level of the Friday night starter you've had the last 2 years. Clearly. Yep. And I don't know that he's really on the level of the Friday night starters you've had overall for like the past decade. When you're talking about Parker Messick and. I don't know. Drew Parrish. I don't know. I can't remember any of them.
I'm sorry. I'm leaving in lurch. But yeah, that sounds about right.
But he's not. I don't believe he's a guy in the ACC that can give you 7 innings of 2-hit, 0-run baseball. He doesn't strike me as that guy. But he's a good pitcher. I'm not trying to take away from him. But he's not electrifying. I don't think he's a first-round pick or a second-round pick. He's a good pitcher for what he is as a weekend starter. I wanted to see Trey Beard.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see him. I think he's the wild card in this. And then Bryson Moore is a Sunday starter. That's fine. Typically, I think he's going to be better than most Sunday starters you face if he doesn't let this one bad start define him, which you never know, man. I mean, he's being counted on like he's never been counted on in college before. He was kind of a spot guy at Virginia. He also got hurt the last 2 years. So he's not really had expectations like this where you're like a weekend starter at Florida State. And now he's coming off a bad outing, so we'll see what he does in Arlington this weekend. But you hope it's much better. Otherwise, it might be back to the drawing board. But overall, I thought the pitching was fine, which is what you kind of wanted to see. And the offense was much better on Saturday. But, and I know you didn't ask me this, but it's a weird situation Link's got here, man. He's almost got too many guys. Like, Eli Putnam got 1 at bat. I want to remind people, Eli Putnam was like the signing of the transfer class for offense. Him and Braden Dowd, right?
Yep.
Were the big guys that they got on offense. And he slugged .660 last year, hit 19 home runs, had like 40 extra base hits, and he didn't play. But you're going to have a guy with the potential like 20 home run, 600 slugging percentage power on your bench for Carter McCulley? And again, that sounds like I don't think Carter McCulley can play. I know he can play. He's at Florida State, and he started at third base. And I assume he's a much better glove, but I don't think that battle is over.
Yeah.
I think McCulley's got to have to earn that spot, or they will go to Putnam, because you don't have a lot of 6'4", 220s guys that can hit the ball 440 feet and hit 12 to 15 to 20 home runs if he plays a full season. You have Miles Bailey. That might be the only power bat you have in the lineup, like legitimate 20 home run power bat. I guess Brody Delamelier, that guy, he does have a power bat. I should take that back. He can really hit for power. So you got them. You got Sheffield piece. You got the Paulino piece. You got Gabe Frazier at second, who started both those games. But Frazier and McCulley I feel like they're going to have people breathing down their neck all year to stay in the lineup. Second base, third base, and DH, I think are going to be interchangeable throughout the season because you've got the likes of Sheffield, Stutzer, Paulino, Putnam, Frazier, and McCulley, and Jace Estes, all kind of buy in for those. That's 7 names for 3 spots. So it'll just be interesting how it turns out.
I think they only had 1 error on the weekend.
I don't think they had any. I think it was 0.
Didn't they? I thought they
had one.
I think Gave Hunter Carnes got credited with 1 for some reason.
Catcher errors don't count.
Yeah, fair. How about Cal Fisher?
Yeah.
That's one of those guys that I think Link was counting on making, like, not maybe a Lodi's-sized leap, but really good 2 games, especially on Saturday, 4 for 5 for him and with 5 RBIs, including a double.
Well, you know why he's important is because he bats behind Bailey for now.
Yeah.
man, Bailey's not going to see a ton of pitches, man, unless Cal Fisher has a special type season. If Cal Fisher is hitting 380 in April with like 6 bombs and 39 RBIs, they're still going to probably pitch around Bailey when they get a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the nature of that guy's swing and his presence in a lineup and his presence in the box. And I thought he did a pretty good job overall. It's 2 games. It's about as small a sample size as you can get of swinging at good pitches and not swinging at the bad ones. But you start to wonder as he gets – Cal Fisher's going to have to prove it. Like, again, we all know he's a good college baseball player. He hit 300 last year on a super regional team with like 10 bombs or whatever he did. He can play. He can hit at this level, and he can hit at a high level. He might be all ACC caliber. But when you're protecting Miles Bailey, you got to be something special for him to get real pitches. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with Bailey. I think there's a chance, if Fisher can't be that protection, that maybe they even move Bailey up to the 2-hole. Like just to make sure, because you don't want to intentionally walk a guy or unintentionally walk a guy with 1 out. It's a lot easier with 2 outs. We'll give him a free base. Who cares? He can't hurt us there. But 1 out, you can start a rally that way. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what. But Fisher, yeah, man, Fisher can play. Carnes can hit. Got to work on the defense still. I think I watched a lot of both games for my friendly confines here in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Still worried about. I don't know what's going to end up happening in center field. Was not impressed with what I saw from Chase at all.
Defensively or at the plate?
Defensively, well, both really. He didn't have a good weekend offensively, but his value on offense speaks for itself if and when he can get on base. But defensively, it was a little troublesome to me. Okay. And then same with Hunter Carnes. Yeah. Those are 2 very, very important defensive positions. They've got to be better. And look, it's not, Chase didn't make an error. He just, if anybody watched the game, there was a play on Friday night. Kid hits a ball in the gap. Chase Williams dives at it for no reason. He's 3 feet away from it. Like when he lands, I'm saying, his glove is 3 feet away from the ball, maybe 5 feet, nowhere near. Turns it into a double, and then almost a triple. If the kid would have busted it, he should have been on third. He turned a single into what should have been a triple, and you can't do that at this level. And then also in the second game on Saturday, he dove for a ball much closer this time where maybe it actually warranted a dive, but he kicked it past Delan Malier and turned another single into a double. Also, I don't think he gets great breaks on balls, but he has so much speed it's hard to tell. And I wouldn't be surprised maybe if they end up putting Dowd back in center because he's played there before and Williams in left. But we'll see. He also made a great throw that should have been an out at third. I've never seen a play that was called an out that looked like an out on replay overturned to safe in a really big moment. That's how they got their only run on Friday night. And then he also made a diving catch on Saturday. Although maybe you could argue he had to dive because he didn't get a good break on it. Either way, I like what that kid brings, the energy he brings. It just wasn't a good weekend for him. And Hunter Carnes he still doesn't look completely comfortable back behind the plate. But as Link said, repeatedly in the preseason and after Friday night's game, he was hurt all preseason. He hasn't caught a lot of innings. So he's still trying to shake the rust off and get his reps too. Now that's a lot of talking about baseball. I apologize, everyone, on my end.
Sorry. No, man.
No, I mean, like I talked way too much and you didn't.
I didn't get to watch a lot of baseball, so we needed
That's why I'm taking over, everyone.
Next up, they'll be in Duval. They're taking on JU on Tuesday, 6th, and then they're heading to Arlington, Texas, home of the Texas Rangers for the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series. They'll be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Michigan, Auburn, and Nebraska up for Link and the boys. If you're not going to be in Texas, which why would you be in Texas unless you lived in Texas? And maybe you're a diehard Florida State fan and you want to fly all the way out to watch them play in Arlington, Texas. That's awesome. But why not just go to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and pull up a chair, pull up a bar stool, order an ice cold, I don't know, like $3 beer probably. I haven't had a beer there in a minute. I'm a seltzer guy. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I know that our guy Matt Lasser talks about the affordability. There's an affordability crisis out there. Not at the Corner Pocket.
Not a Corner Pocket. Absolutely. Well said, Aslan.
Not a Corner Pocket. Delicious food, daily lunch specials, weekday happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Great social calendar. Tuesday nights, as we all know, trivia at 7 p.m. Thursday night bingo, $1,000 in cash up for grabs. Jukeboxes, dartboards, pool tables, 40 televisions, a Vegas wall of screens. It's all at one place in the capital city of Florida. It's the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and NAPA Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. I'm still shook, Corey, from your criticism of my producing style and opening up a softball. I don't know what to do. I can't believe what's going on with Luke and this basketball team, my friend. They outscored Virginia Tech on the road by 26 points in the second half. They put 53 on the board in the second half. En route to, what does my math tell me? That was a 23-point victory. My goodness. 92-69 over a fairly competent Virginia Tech team, right? Like, are they cellar dwelling in the ACC, or they?
No, they were according to Lenardi, it's that time of year, folks, where we get to hear about Joe Lenardi for a month. He had them as the very first team out of the NCAA tournament. Wow. So they're a bubble team, and they had just won at Clemson, which is a very good win and a good team. That's a really good win. So they had just won at Clemson, this Virginia Tech team. They were at 500 in the ACC, but like I just said, they were the, out of whatever, 33 at-larges, they were number 34. So they were considered, that was a big, big game for them. Mm-hmm. And they got worked. I just posted about this on the Hoops message board. Like, it's a bummer that they were so bad earlier in the year, this Florida State team, because you look at what they've done the last, let's say, month, 3 weeks, they played like a top 25 team.
Let's go.
I think they're 5-3 in their last 8 games, and their 3 losses were by a combined 7 points. 2 at home, kind of on meltdowns, where they had 8 to 9 point leads in the final 5 or 6 minutes and lost those games. Now, those losses count. They aren't a top 25 team. And good teams, better teams, I guess, figure out a way to win those games. But considering, again, where they were and where they started and all the ugliness of some of those losses, to look like this now and to play like this is just, I can't tell you how encouraging it is. Yeah. Man, it's awesome.
Shout out to our guy, Martin Somerville. Really strong performance on the night. He went 9 for 11, 4 of 6 from distance with a game-high 23. Chauncey Wiggins, 7 of 8 from the field, had 19 in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get people's hopes up for this season to kind of make a run, but I mean, should we look far down the schedule, Corey, to see things they could do, or they have to make some kind of special run? Because it's like mid-February.
They got to win the tournament.
Yeah.
They have 12 losses right now, or 13, I think. They're and some of them were by 40 points. They're not going to make the tournament, no matter what they do the rest. They could win out in the regular season. They're not going to make the tournament unless they win the ACC tournament. Right. But if they keep winning games, it would appear they're going to play in the ACC tournament, which is a good sign. And again, I want to reiterate, like I've made this point a bunch. You're losing most of your good players, but there were 8. So there were 8 guys that played in that game. He shortened the rotation to 8. 6 of them are leaving. Basong and Somerville, who was awesome on Saturday, they have eligibility left, and you assume they're coming back. You hope they come back. Everybody else is gone. So it's not about building this roster, because this roster has to be replaced. You are watching a young coach, and he's young, a young, inexperienced coach, completely adjust and pivot in the middle of a season. And not just with the practice styles and the styles of his game. Like, they're not just chucking ridiculous threes anymore. They're still shooting at a pace, a pretty high pace, but not at a record-setting pace. And they're not just taking horrible shots anymore. They're getting good shots. They're playing better on defense. They're more connected. But that's what encourages me so much. Not that they hit a bunch of shots on Saturday afternoon, and not that they played, I thought, really well defensively against Virginia. It's that it looks like a completely different team. It's the same players, but it's a different-looking team. And that, to me, is where the coaching comes into play. That's where you credit the coaching. Yeah. Robert McRae and Somerville and Chauncey Wiggins didn't just become awesome all of a sudden. They bought into a coaching staff, and this coaching staff and this head coach found a way to make a connection to get them to change the way they were playing. You would have liked it to have happened in October, in November, but the fact that it happened at all in the middle of a season with a bunch of guys that are one-year rentals, that to me speaks to the coaching ability of this guy and this staff, right? Like the adjustment and the pivot in the middle of a season to turn it around like this. Well, now he learns too, man. He gets to get better too. He is not a finished product. And the mistakes he made in October and November, you have to imagine these growing pains, the growing pains he went through as a coach and this team went through, they learn from it now. The coaching staff does. And next year, you don't make some of the same mistakes. You also learn how to win in the ACC, and that's what he's done. Now, he's not winning at a record rate. He's won 5 games in the conference in his career. He's a long way to go to catch Krzyzewski. But he knows what it takes now. He's lived this life, and he is taking all this information and this data, or data, however you want to pronounce it, and formulating what it's going to take next year. Roster-wise, practice style-wise, period, the way they play. All of this is being computerized and remembered in the folder, in the database. So when our database, I guess it must be data, right? Nobody says database, do they?
Yeah.
People say the word database, not database.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. I'd never.
But yeah, I think database is more common. So maybe we should just stick with data. Final answer.
I'm all about data. And and that was the guy's name on Star Trek.
And the guy.
So it wasn't data.
Wasn't it?
And plus, that sounds too much like Mama and Data.
Who was the guy in Goonies? Was he? Do they call him Data or Data?
You're thinking of Chunk.
No, it's Chunk's
I know,
Chunk.
I'm just kidding. I don't remember. I just remember that crazy old woman from Throw Mama from the Train. What was the guy? I can't even remember what Danny DeVito's name was.
Oh,
God, because she's always said, it wasn't Wilbur, but Owen. Oh, that's what it was. Owen. She called him Owen. Because we had friends that named their kid Owen, their son Owen, and so that's the name that's the sound I made every time I thought of his name. But anyway, so now back to the point at hand as I keep talking. Sorry, Aslan.
Databases.
But I just think it's such a good sign. Once conference play started and you were 0-3 and you had lost all those games earlier, there was nothing to get from this season except experience for the coach, and he's gotten it. Where you look at what he's done with this team, and you can start to dream like, okay, man, there's some acumen there. There's some ability to adjust there. There's some ability to outcoach the other team there. And he believes in his style, but he's not so stubborn that he won't change it if he has to. And he's adjusting and adapting and absorbing everything on the fly. He's only going to get better, your hope. Because there's nobody that watched that NC State game, and I know I bring it up, it was a month ago now, and thought, oh, man, Luke Laux is the answer. He can coach. I literally thought that you could have had anybody on the sideline in that game, and the result couldn't have been worse. I mean, the 113 points, 44-point loss. So after that moment, for his team to be 5-3, and literally, like, no joke, could really be on an 8-game winning streak. Like, think of their losses: 3 points to SMU, the meltdown against Wake Forest, when they had a 9-point lead and lost by a point, and then not really a meltdown, but the late loss to Virginia, who's a very good team, by the way, when they had a 9-point lead and lost by 3. All those games were winnable. That's 8-0, man. Now, that still wouldn't be enough, but by God, they're close to being a good team right now. And from where they were, the improvement they made from, I think, one of the worst Power 4 teams in the country a month ago to a team that's now like kind of one of those teams you don't want to play. And just showed Virginia Tech that if you don't take us seriously, you're going to get boat raced. That's just it's moving forward for next year. They also got a good freshman class coming in. And the last point I wanted to make, as I continue to, it's like it's a filibuster. I'm sorry, Aslan. I apologize to the listeners. I'm also yelling at you guys. I realize that. I apologize for the volume. Don't you think when you're trying to sell your program to portal kids, the way these guys have improved, the way this team has improved from December until February, when you go on the road, I don't even know if you go on the road to recruit portal kids, when you pick up the phone or text or Snapchat a kid, isn't this the proof isn't this a selling point? Like, look at what we did in our first year. Look at the turnaround we went from horrible to pretty darn good in a year. Join this program because we're going. I just think that would be very alluring and attractive to portal guys next year. You know you got a good freshman class coming in, but you're going to have to get some portal dudes. I think this would be really attractive.
What do you think?
What they've done as a coaching staff.
You don't want to, like, bring all the spotlight on yourself as a coach, but, like, what do you think is the bigger selling point, though, when you show these kind of players this season? Do you show them, like, I went and found all these disparate pieces around the country, pieced it together, and ended up, winning 3 times as many games as we did the previous season in my first year? Like, let's go. Or is it like those parents, the people that are involved in decision making, look at the way that this team kind of looked, right? Like in late December, January, and like, this guy knows how to get things back on track. So even if we hit some kind of obstacles, like I think this guy knows his way around the locker room, around the grease board, like figure out a way to keep this thing rolling. Is it more about just showing him coaching these guys up and like getting the best out of them, or just showing his ability as a coach to not spiral?
I think it's the first part. I don't think the guys in the portal will care that much about they want to know they're going to get better. They want to know they're going to play for a winning team and that they can improve. And I think when let's say you're going, because they're going to need a star. They're going to have to get a Robert McCray. They're going to have to get somebody better than Robert McCray. And I like Robert McCray. But as a lead guard, you can't count on these freshmen to be your stars and your playmakers at the end of games. Somerville, I don't think that's his thing. I like him. I think he's a good piece. He's not your star. I don't think he's got star potential. But in this day and age, you need a couple of guys that can go get you 18 to 25 a night. So when you're in the portal talking to that person that you want to be your next guy, you say, look, man, I know our record was 500. Here's what I was up against when I took the job. I took the job in March, had never coached a second of college basketball, had to put together my staff, and then had to go kind of get the bargain bin of transfer portal guys. Where I had to get a guy from UMass Lowell, a guy from St. Bonaventure, a guy from Jacksonville, a guy from Clemson that was like a 7th man or a 6th man. Like, I had to go all around the country. Drexel, I think I said that. I can't remember if I said them. I had to go all around the country to get these guys and some freshmen. And this is what I was able to do. Now I've had a whole year to get my ducks in a row. I've got better. This roster is going to be better. I know much more about what I'm doing and what I'm looking for, and you are a perfect fit for what we're trying to do. And we try to lead the nation in scoring. They don't, but they try to lead the nation in scoring. We are a fun team to play for. This is a fun offense to play for. I think that's how you sell it, and you need to go get 1 or 2 big-time dudes to join what you think is like at least Somerville and Basong. Maybe Cam Miles stays, but at this point he never plays. He's out of the rotation. Who knows if that happens? It's too bad because I think he can play. And then same with Alir Malouk. Like I don't; those guys don't play a second, so it's hard to. I know they have eligibility left, but when you're not playing at all, it's hard to imagine you're going to come back and play again just in this day and age. But AJ Swinton has made some strides. He had a couple threes in that game, so you have 3 dudes coming back, but there's plenty of minutes and points available, and that's a selling point. On top of we play a fun style, and look how much better my guys got as the season went on. And I'm going to let you make mistakes. Yeah. Like Robert McCray was in a game where he had 11 turnovers and wasn't pulled. Huh? And other guys have been in games where they're 0 for 8 from 3. Like, he's going to allow you to make mistakes and play. I do think what I'm happy about is this style was always going to be fun. It was always going to be a fun selling point to show someone, look how many threes we shoot. Look how fast we play. Look at the pace we play. And look at how interchangeable we are. And everybody's supposed to shoot. And it's more of an NBA style. But if the kid looks at the record and you went 2-18 in the ACC, or 2-16, I can't remember how many games they play now, he's not going to be interested. He's like, yeah, that's awesome. Y'all went 7-25, coach. No thanks. But now that there's actually some proof, and you've beaten some good teams, and you've won on the road, and you're kind of middle of the pack in the ACC, I think that all of that is a good selling point for him. And it's also a really good selling point for him to investors. Like, you're not just throwing your money in the trash when you give it to me. You're not burning it. I will do something with it. Look what I've done with this team. Now give me some real money and see what I can do.
Yeah, I think you're on your first instinct. 18-game schedule these days. You used to have the 20.
I think I said 2-18.
Right,
so I was wrong on my
2-16.
first
All
instinct.
right,
so 2-16 is what I meant. Right. Sorry, everyone.
Hey, We went like 30 minutes without talking about football.
How about that?
You ready?
It is February 16th.
You ready to force the football?
Let's do it. How was Valentine's Day, by the way?
So we went out to dinner with my mom and my brother.
That's hot. How hot is that?
Yeah, and his lady on Friday, because we're like, I didn't even realize. My mom's like, well, how about you make reservations on Friday? This was like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, all right, sure. And I was like, oh yeah, good thing we did Friday, because Saturday there's no way we would be able to do anything because it was Valentine's Day. But we went down to that block party. It was good.
Okay.
I bought her the present of a water pick water flosser, because I'm a loving.
You're about that. Yeah, you love that stuff.
So I didn't get to listen to this. I don't know. Did you listen to the 34-second snippet from Tour of Duty posted by the Florida State football Twitter account?
No.
I didn't either. Let's listen to it together for the first time, Corey. Here we go.
All right.
34 seconds of Mike Norvell, I think. Buckle up.
There's going to be challenging moments and difficult times. Be strong in mind and strong in spirit, and leave no doubt.
Oh, all right. Never mind. That was it. And then it's just them showing tug of rope. I thought it was actually like him speaking for 34 seconds. I was like, let's go. Let's see what he's made of now. So that was underwhelming. They did mic up Deuce. We could probably listen to that, but those are always a little bit boring, I feel like. But let us do legitimately force the football and talk about SMU. That is a big, huge game for Florida State. Obviously, it is the ACC opener, Labor Day Monday. And on February 13th, their defensive coordinator says later, Scott Simons, who actually I think was on Norvell's staff at Memphis at one point. He had been the DC at SMU for the last few years. He took the inside linebacking job at Dallas. The Cowboys, that is.
Yeah.
Not the University of Dallas. So they're going to promote their linebacker coach. I mean, I get it. Like, there's a lot of similarity there. That's the natural thing that you do. I don't know. I think maybe if you're an SMU fan, you're like, oh, they lost Gus. Sweet. But then it's like, oh, crap. We just lost our defensive coordinator.
That's right.
I feel good about it, Corey. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a dub there. And then Miami lost its defensive pass game coordinator. He's going to Arizona. The Cardinals.
Not the Wildcats.
Yeah, the NFL team, to be their cornerbacks coach. So it's not just Mike, everybody. It's not just Gus changing his mind at the 11th hour. I mean, I don't think I want to do this any longer. Scott Simons, SMU, they got a good gig. Zach Etheridge, he's got a good gig at Miami.
Yep.
Although, Etheridge just seems like a clear upgrade, right? You're going from positional coach in college to positional coach in the NFL. But like, Simon's going from DC at SMU to a linebackers coach, like just an inside. It is the Cowboys. I don't know, maybe he is.
It is the NFL.
Texas guy.
There's maybe more stability. I don't know. And he does have to move, right?
Yeah, it's true.
It's just right down the road. So, yeah, that's a pretty fun. Yeah, it's a goal. Some people's goal is to get to the NFL always. So it is odd, though. Like, he must not have thought he could. I don't think this is the easiest path to be a college head coach, to go be an inside linebackers coach in the pros. So usually when you're a coordinator, the next step is college head coach. But apparently that wasn't what he wanted to do, because I wouldn't think this is the best route to get there. But, oh, well, sucks to be them, right, Aslan? Yeah. Sucks to be them.
And as I was doom scrolling, I shouldn't say discovered, but I've been bookmarking a lot of tweets lately.
Okay.
Just bookmarking them to go back and look at them later. And I bookmarked this one a long time ago. It's over a month. It's from Greedy Vance. And it just made me think about, how do we need to look at this team moving forward? Because listen, I'm the dark, gloomy cloud over this, the narrative around this program or whatever. And I'm just not, it's hard for me to get excited about anything or think that really strong move in a positive direction. If they would have made their director of strategy a guy that was like co-assistant OC for the Niners under Kyle Shanahan, all right, I like that a lot. I think that's actually a good thing. But I don't know how reasonable of a hire that would have been. But as we sit here and try to think about this team, and we've mentioned it maybe once or twice, but so Greedy had this tweet. As a person who transferred many times, that process was crazy. You got to continue to buy into different coaching philosophies and their culture, build strong relationships with new teammates, and perform at a high level consistently in a new environment. Jeesh. So I'm thinking about buy-in, and I get it, right? So Trey Wisner didn't buy in to Steve Sarkisian, and now he's going to buy in this time around. We need to hope that happens.
I don't think that's a good example, because I think he did buy in. He played there for 3 years, right, and ran for 1,000 yards one of the years. I just think he wanted more carries, I would think, or more money, and that's why he's at Florida State, or he was going to be passed on the pecking order, and they told him that. But I hear what you're saying, but I just didn't think that was the best example. Like, use any of the other portal guys.
Well, I was actually going to try to make this a positive thing, because I do agree with what Greedy says. I don't think we think about nearly as much about how difficult it really is, like, to assimilate back into not back into a locker room, but into a new locker room with a new staff and all that kind of stuff. But like they did it in 2022, right? Like, Verse was a new guy, Johnny Wilson, new guy, Trey Benson, new guy, Dylan Gibbons, new guy. I think Dimitri Emanuel was on the 22 team.
Yeah.
He was a new guy. So you had a bunch of guys that had to come buy into a different coaching philosophy in this culture here. And this culture in 2022 was completely, absolutely 110% Mike Norvell's culture. Kenny had left. Alex Atkins was a first-time, OC in name, mostly at the Power 4 level. So, I mean, it was all Norvell. So he was able to get those guys to buy in. I don't know how much of that was having an X-factor kind of quarterback like Jordan. But, when we think about what this team can be, obviously, I've mentioned that, like, we know what it's supposed to look like. We saw what 2023 looked like. You have to be overwhelmingly more talented than pretty much everybody on your schedule if you want to go undefeated and make it to the playoff. It feels like, kind of to a certain degree. Although Miami, I don't think, was supremely more talented. They snuck in. They made it to the national title game.
Well, they had some talent up front, though. They were supremely talented on the line of scrimmage and had a ridiculous receiver.
Yeah.
So that helped.
But the 22 team, though, right? Like, I think that is the absolute ceiling of what this team could be. I don't think 9-3 gets you into the playoff in the ACC.
No.
I know some of us thought that they were like a borderline. They would have been a borderline playoff team in a 16-team playoff.
They would have been a borderline team, and they would have been a borderline playoff team if they had won that NC State game in 22.
Oh, for
sure. In a 16-game season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 10-2, they would have had at least a complaint if they didn't get in. But no, 9-3, they were not going to get into the playoff, a 16-team play or a 12-team playoff. Sorry, it'll be 16 one of these days, or maybe 24 if the Big Ten has its way. Which at this point, why not? Just make it. But why not 64? Yeah. Just start it in late October. Just start the tournament in late October. Half these kids would opt out, or are going to start opting out in November anyway. You have to put it in their contract not to. Yeah, the buy-in, it's interesting, man, when it comes to that, because it's like never having played college football, I don't know what that even really means. I don't, like, aren't you self-motivated enough that, like, are they talking about Mike Norvell when they're benching 405? Do they go that high? Probably during the season. Yeah, no, I know they can do it. I'm saying, are they repping out like 330? You know what I mean? Right. Like you and I do. Like I do. I try to do 335. 3 sets of 335, 8 reps.
Okay, strong.
Is that what you do, or are you still a little lower than that?
I'm 185, dog. Yeah, I'm not throwing up like you. I saw somebody and they were talking about. Saw somebody this past week that I'm like, yeah, my arm's been bothering me. I'm like, I want to get back in the gym, start lifting heavier again. Like, oh yeah, you got it, man, because Corey's been looking really good. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
That's right.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks,
no, I do not do 335, and in fact, my shoulder's all screwed up because I'm old. So I just rep lower weights. So not 335. I'm doing what I can. What I can. But when you're in a college football weight room, is that a thing? Like, man, I don't want to do this work, but my boy next to me needs me to. Or Mike Norvell, the way he screamed at us at tour of duty, that fires me up. I think most of these guys are self-motivated. That's how you become. Some of them are just natural athletes. Well, they're all naturally athletic, but all of them are elite athletes that are self-motivated and want to be good because they want to be good. And then it's like, okay, so what is the buy-in? Like in the fourth quarter, do they just stop trying? They don't mind being embarrassed or run over or giving up a touchdown pass. They don't run as fast because they don't care if they make this touchdown catch. That's what I don't. That's where I don't know what the. That's why I always come back to talent. I just think talent trumps everything. Now, you can have a really talented team, and if for some reason they don't care because of lack of leadership, that's a recipe for really bad things. But I'd rather start with the really talented and see what happens. Having a bunch of guys that care, that buy in, but aren't very good, your ceiling is your ceiling. So, yeah, I just don't know. I don't – because I was listening to that, and this isn't fair to Mike Norvell, but y'all don't care. I was listening to him scream whatever he just screamed at the beginning of that clip.
Strong in mind, strong in spirit.
And I understand that most of the guys on the team this day and age have only – this is their first year. It's – what is it? Probably 50 of them, 45 of them have never had a practice with Mike Norvell yet.
Yeah.
So when they hear him scream that, they're like, all right, coach, yeah, he's fired up, he's fired up. Me, having listened to it for 7 years now, it's like, all right, man, whatever. Great, yeah, strong mind. No, whatever he yells all the time, it goes through my ear and out the other ear, my right ear and out the left ear. I got to specify. Yeah. I don't know why I specified. Why would y'all care what ear? And I actually pointed to my ear as I was saying that.
Maybe you tilt your head like towards the screen when he was talking. You tilted your head to the right.
My
so
right ear. Don't think it goes into my left ear first. It don't.
No.
My right ear out my left ear. What a weirdo. But I've heard it for 7 years. So yes, it has run its course with me, and you guys probably. The record doesn't help, but the fact that we've been hearing that kind of message and when the behind-the-scenes stuff and the way he talks at booster meetings and everything else, press conferences, we've heard the same stuff over and over and over again. When they used to do the cinematic recaps after the game, we've heard it all before. Well, these guys have, and it's new to most of them. But are they bought in because they believe in their coach, or are they just do they want to be good football players who win games? I feel like they all want to be really good football players. I think that the connection that you try to find, right, the special sauce you try to find is they all want to be great football players. How much do they really care if they win?
Yeah.
And I think that's a battle that it's not just Mike Norvell fighting. It's a lot of people in this day and age in every sport because of the transactional nature of college athletics. Everybody's fighting yeah, I want to have a good season. I want to put up numbers. But if we lose, we lose. That's fine. I did my part. How much does it really affect them when they lose? And that's because it affects Norvell. We know that. He's bought in. He's all in. Yeah. But the other guys, I don't know.
Well, it's funny you say that because the whole video is them doing tug of war, like 3-on-3, and it's guys. It's Chroma looks like an absolute maniac. It's awesome. He's like up in Chuck Kennon's face, like imploring him to pull. But I don't know, man. I'm with you. I get it. Talent. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But I really want talent. Like they are not flush with talent. But then I try to look at the way they were in 2022. I did not think they were flush with talent in 2022. But then you start looking at it, you're like, well, they actually, Deuce is better than Johnny Wilson was. I don't know. Mekhi Danzy's probably better than what Pokey was.
Not yet, but he's on his way, right? Like Pokey was pretty good. Pokey's a more accomplished, kind of polished receiver, I think. But yes, Mekhi Danzy certainly has a ceiling higher than Pokey Wilson's.
Yeah, I don't think the offensive line was elite in 2022. I know they had really good numbers, but that was not a robust, overly heralded, blue chip laden offensive line, and they paved the way for a team that ran for 200 yards in 6 straight games to end out the season.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well maybe Herb Hand. I like Herb Hand. I mean, Herb Hand and 5 dudes. Feel like I'll take I like my odds, I like my chances on that. But then it obviously kind of goes back to defense. But I just wonder if there is a level of, like Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, these guys left for dead, right? Like they were left for dead. Mike Norvell believes in them, breathes in them, breathes life into them. And yeah, they do buy. I mean, I don't know how much that is really just all this cliche. Like you try 1% hard. Like if you really not even believe in who Mike Norvell is, but you believe in his vision, like you believe in this play call, right? Like things like that, I think maybe can make a bit of an impact, but it's hard for these guys to really get enough of it just in conditioning workouts, 15 spring practices, 15 or whatever preseason practices, and it's the season. And it's like, man, you're not going to really know who you have until you're in those games. And then at that point, it's it's tough to buy in at that point in the season. So I do wonder if it's something that, we'll ever be able to interview former players and get a sense of like how those locker rooms were able to kind of coalesce and why certain ones did, why certain ones did not.
Don't you think most locker rooms are just the great teams, the great locker rooms it's all player driven.
Oh, for sure.
So that when we and I push back a little bit when Jeff and Ira talk about, mainly Jeff honestly talks about losing his message, losing a message, and nobody believes in his message anymore. Talking about the players, and it's like, man, I just don't think, and I could be completely wrong. I don't think players care about the head coach's message or his demeanor.
I mean, after week 4 they do though, Corey, right? Like after the second loss in a row. I mean,
but I think the problem there is there was, and I'm talking about 2025. They lost confidence so quickly. But it was Norvell.
It was good,
guys,
though.
You suck.
They were too overconfident, Corey. They thought that it was good. Virginia was a wake up call. Remember,
right, and then they were 28, and then it was 28-3 against a good team. But still, you're down 28-3 the next week, and then you lose to Pitt. Like, I don't know if that's not the message being lost. That's maybe not the right players playing. I don't know. I don't know how it. I just don't know how it equates to what happens on the field, whether you believe in your head coach or not. Like, do you believe in – because especially last year. This year I would get it because he's calling plays. And Ashton Daniels might be like, oh, this again? All right, guys, here we go. I mean, not that they huddle anymore, really, but if they were on the sideline, it's like, guys, I know he's calling a horrible game. Let's pick it up. But when you're head coach with your microphone flipped up your temple and you're not talking, you're not making any decisions that matter, I just think it has more to do with the talent level and the strategy. And I think that kind of got lost when we talk about his message being lost in his whatever. I can't remember how that Jeff always phrased it. I don't know why I'm having that brain slip up. I can't even
tuning him out or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, tuning out his message, I guess, or his losing the locker room. I just think that, man, they when your main goal is to acquire really good talent, the best talent you can get, and then coach them well. Now, there are, and Norvell I think Norvell talked to the ACC network about some, and it had a long quote about what he's changing about himself and looking inward and all this, and that's true. I hope he does. But they didn't lose games because they stopped caring that Norvell kept shouting at his lungs, one heartbeat or whatever he would shout. They lost games because they weren't well coached and they weren't good enough. Now, that is all under the auspices of the head coach. Like, that's all his purview. So it's not like he gets a break from that. This is all his fault. But get better players and coach them better. And whether they think you're a dummy or not, you're going to win more games. There is a line of great guy like Gene Chizik won a national championship, man. Correct. Do you think that locker room was like, God, dog, we are being coached by the next Newt Rockne. This guy's unbelievable. Forget what he did at Iowa State. This guy's he's a deity. Oh, man, he's Gene Chizik and he had Cam Newton. And the guys started believing. But they started believing in Cam Newton, in the team, their teammates. They weren't believing in the head coach. I don't think. I could be wrong. Like Jimbo was the same coach in 13 as he was in 12, in 10, and 16. Those guys believed in themselves and they believed in that quarterback. And that belief in your teammates matters more than what they believe in their head coach, in my opinion. I could be 100% wrong because, like I said, to start this, the latest diatribe in the Monday Diatribe show, I've never been in a college football locker room, so I might not have any idea what I was talking about. But I just think it matters more and resonates more what you believe in the guys that you're playing with and not your coach. Like, I could imagine, like, Darrell Jackson in that Pitt game, watching James Williams, I'm assuming, get just pushed off the line 10 yards downfield or completely leave the edge and leave a gaping hole for the running back to be like, man, like he's rolling his eyes at that. At that dude. Not, and maybe even Tony White and Terrence Knighton, but not at Mike Norvell in that moment. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I think it just matters. But I just think your belief in yourself and your teammates matters more than the belief in the coach. That said, it would be nice if they believed in the coach. It'd be nice if he gave them a reason to believe.
He believes in Ashton Daniels.
Yeah.
Said he spoke to all of his former coaches, whether it's David Shaw, Troy Taylor, Hugh Freeze. He also told our Pete Nakos that the hiring of John Garrett and Taylor Edwards is going to allow him, quote, more flexibility to be able to do the job of calling plays, more involved when it comes to the schematic part of it, and that's something I'm grateful for.
Yeah, all right.
What you mean? All right. Yeah,
so
there's a lot of quotes.
It seems like he's not. I know it doesn't sound like he's making this a real QB battle.
Doesn't.
Like
no.
He was asked about it a little bit. He was asked about Kevin Sperry in that interview. And just was like, yeah, we have a lot of depth in the room and we believe in Kevin. But he definitely came short of saying this is an outright, absolute QB competition. And I just hope it is. And I hope Ashton Daniels and Kevin Sperry are both – I hope they sit down in a room with Norvell. This is what I would do. Because, hey, man, I've been as good a head coach as Norvell the last 2 years. So this is what I would do. I sit them both in my room and say, look, this is a legit QB competition. Kevin, you have just as much a chance as winning this game as Ashton. Ashton the same way. And I promise you both, whoever earns the spot will get it. Do you guys both agree that I will pick the best player for this position, the player that gives us the best chance to win? This is a complete meritocracy. And Ashton Daniels went to Stanford, so you know he doesn't have to look that word up. And he's a Gwinnett County kid. This is a meritocracy. Whoever is the best out of you two will play. But it is not Ashton's to lose, and it's not Kevin's to lose. Y'all both have a chance to go win it. Do y'all both agree with that? Is that the way I should run a program? Great. Good luck. It needs to be a real QB competition. Enough of the bringing the guys in and giving them the job. It's not working. It's not working. You think we talk about DJ and Tommy. What about Mackenzie Milton, man? Like, he is 0 for 3 with just handing the job to a 1-year rental. And I know Mackenzie Milton wasn't exactly handed the job, but he whipped a couple throws out of his ass against Notre Dame, and then he's the starter for the next 3 weeks. Sorry, bleep it, Aslan. But, like, he didn't earn that job. And DJ and Tommy come and just they get the job immediately. Have a real QB competition here.
Yeah, I don't know if Jordan. I don't know if Jordan deserved to keep the job. I mean, he played well against Notre Dame, but like that
that was the problem. He threw 3 interceptions against Notre Dame, but 2 of them were to Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, one of them made no sense.
It was insane.
I don't even count it against him. He threw it to the opposite hash,
that's the right read, right throw. The kid is just an all-timer.
Yeah. Well, you knowing what Mackenzie Milton was capable of, seeing him firsthand the way Mike did when he was at Memphis, to like see whatever that magic little
he believed in the magic of it.
Yeah, you're like, all right, man, like that's what we needed. Like that, I've got cover. I've got I can explain like this is why we're going to roll with him. And then they lost to Jacksonville State, but what are you going to do about that? The quote was, or the story from Pete Nakos, Norvell did not outright tell On 3 that Daniels will start in 2026, but he said that bringing in Daniels, quote, there is a high expectation for the level of performance and what it needs to look like, which that's quintessential. That's incredible. That's incredible. But the one thing I was going to say on the way out, just as we wrap things up on this, Force and Football, almost 30 minutes of football at the end of the show.
What a show.
Tell your friends, hang tight, survive in advance through the show. You'll make it to football. And
you need to get, and the softball and baseball and basketball teams all deserve your respect.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. But, the whole thing would be like, all right, pick a quarterback, focus on him, if you're going to go down, the ship's going to be on your call and all this sort on your watch. You want to be the guy calling the shots. Like, don't you want to identify your quarterback now and pour everything you can into him? And I'm trying to think back to 22. I mean, Tate Rodemaker was here because he played in the Louisville game. AJ Duffy was here, but like everybody knew it was Jordan. So during practice, it wasn't as though Mike neglected AJ Duffy and Tate Rodemaker if Duffy was here in 22. I think he was.
He was, yeah.
But like he was, man, when Jordan got done doing his reps in 11 on 11, he would go go to the sideline, or he would run to the other side of the field where Norvell was waiting for the next reps to come in. And like, there was very much like a partnership. Like, let's make sure we're on the same page about the plays that we just ran, what we're doing in the next period. Like, there was a lot of kind of, I'm going to say hand holding, but like grooming, man. Like, all right, this is going to be, you're our guy now. We know this. I need to be with you as much as I can throughout practice to set you up for success. I do wonder if he's trying to maybe create something like that with Ashton Daniels, because not even Ashton Daniels in particular, but I mean, he thinks probably that's his best shot. So he wants to just, pick his horse now and put all his chips on him, because that'll help him out in practice.
But I don't think he'll coach like that. I don't think it'll be like he's got his arm around Ashton while Kevin Sperry's running through 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, and he's not even paying attention. Like I don't think he'll do that. And also, I don't think the difference between Jordan Travis and that Tate Rodemaker and AJ Duffy forever, it was so wide that we all knew it, right? Like there was no real. I just don't think Ashton Daniels or Kevin Sperry are separated by that much. The only real advantage that Ashton Daniels has, I don't think it's athletically. He's probably bigger and a little more physical as a runner, but I don't really think it's athletically or physically. It's experience. He's got a lot more experience. He doesn't have a lot of experience winning games, but he has a lot of experience playing in games. But their skill sets are pretty similar too, right? Like they're not the difference between Tommy and Kevin last year was just too wide. You had a true freshman versus a guy that had started 25 games. You knew Tommy was going to be the guy. And Jordan and those guys, you knew that. This is just too close, man. Ashton Daniels has not bathed himself in enough glory in college football to be the automatic starting quarterback at Florida State. He just hasn't. So, whether you think he's the right guy or not, make him go earn it. Because there is a chance. I've seen it, Aslan. Not here lately, but I've seen quarterbacks take big leaps from one year to the next. And there is a chance that Kevin Sperry might take a huge leap. And I don't think Norvell would stiff arm him aside, say, no, hold on. This is Ashton's team. This is Ashton's year. We made all this stuff for Ashton. And what I do think helps is I think they're similar enough athletically and skill set wise that you don't have to. It's not like the offense changes drastically if one's in or the other. And I also don't think one of them is much better than the other. So or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ashton's world's better than him. We'll all find out. I guess we'll all find out against New Mexico State. I was going to say this spring, but who knows? Maybe we'll get to watch spring practice, everyone. By the way, before we're out, it was mostly a good weekend for Florida State athletics. But I'll go ahead and be the first to say it.
No, talk about lacrosse. Come on, man.
Might need a shakeup in the lacrosse coaching staff. Don't like what I saw out in California, Aslan.
We didn't even talk about our guy Dean DeNoble from Lafayette that transferred in here. He's also part of the mix, right? Quarterback competition. Yeah, what did happen with lacrosse? I saw they lost to the UC Davis.
I was just kidding. I have no idea. I think they lost by a goal in the first game, and then they lost to UC Davis on Sunday.
Yeah, they lost to Cal, 10-9, slimmest of margins, and then Cal Davis 13-6 yesterday.
Ooh.
So, and they went up there, man. They went from Berkeley to Davis, or from Berkeley down to Davis.
Where's Davis? Where's Davis, California?
I think it's not too far. I think it's NorCal. It's in the vicinity.
Oh, okay.
So, man, what a brutal gauntlet here. And then they got the week to lick their wounds, and then they're gonna hit the road to take on Army in Atlanta, though, at BT Harvey Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Corey,
never heard of BT Harvey Stadium. That'll be fun.
I thought a lot of your great exploits were performed at Harvey Stadium in Morehouse. It's the home field for Morehouse College.
Oh, all right.
I'll describe. You don't have enough soul, Corey, to be at BT.
Right,
Neither do I. All right.
Weirdly, University of Georgia never played at Morehouse.
Yeah, clearly. And I was trying to find data to back up my point that I think Mekhi Danzy is on par with Pokey, but yeah, man, Pokey had 70 catches going into 2022, but never had a 500-yard receiving season. Mekhi Danzy did, though.
He didn't have 500 yards in 22?
Nope. 495.
Oh. All right. Okay. How about that? Pokey and Tamari and Terry from that small town in Georgia.
Last minute. Minute. Absolutely. Throw-ins all right, we got room. Sure. Fine.
Yeah.
Gosh, Jimbo. What happened, Jimbo? What happened, man? What happened to the eye?
But Pokey had Tamarian did too, the 1.5 years. But Pokey had a nice career, man. Made some big plays, had a couple touchdowns against North Carolina in that game in 21. Had the big opening touchdown against Miami in 22. Had some. And the LSU game in New Orleans.
22,
had some really big moments. Old Pokey did.
Yeah, man, I like Poke. Poke's a good guy, man.
Too. Old Ontario.
That's
right.
right.
Wasn't that his
Correct.
Name? Ontario?
That's what's on the W2. That's what's on the W2. All right, 2 more shows. We'll do that for you folks, minimum, and we got interviews on Tuesday with more football players.
Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Tuesday this week, I think, Corey, because I was going to maybe stay and then cover hoops because they take on Boston College, but they're going to be playing baseball in in Jacksonville, so I should probably come back.
Oh, yeah,
for that.
That's interesting. And what's crazy is that
11:30 a.m. by the way, Corey. 11:30 a.m. this one though.
Yeah, that's fine. We got headlines right after, but I was going to say the basketball game on Tuesday starts at 6.
Ooh, one of those. Yeah, so does a baseball
weird, huh?
game. Yeah,
6 p.m. Home basketball game. Just a public service announcement if you're thinking about going to the game. It's not if you arrive at 7 o'clock, the Noles will already be up by 18 points.
There we go. Devin Carter, Mikhail Bayor, Nate Paps, Desirio Riles.
All right. Not exactly household names there, those 4, but they're all newcomers. They're not supposed to be household names.
Would you cringe if I asked Nate Paps whether or not he's had discussions with PBR for NIL opportunity?
No. Isn't he a big lineman?
Yeah,
absolutely not. I assume every big offensive lineman drinks beer.
Yeah.
And they're all pros now anyway, and he's old. There's nothing wrong with asking a 22-year-old young man, if he drinks some beer and wants to get an NIL deal with PBR.
Yeah. I almost forgot to ask you this, but yeah, we'll talk about it some other time. You see Carolina sign a quarterback from Western Carolina?
No.
Yeah.
Right now? February 15th?
Yeah. He threw 38 touchdowns and only 2 picks. He had 46 consecutive pass completions in a single game. That's an NCAA record.
Oh.
That would have been kind of cool. Maybe get him instead of the guy from JUCO, but we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see how it works out. Good luck, Bill Belichick. All right, we're done. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock. Headlines going down Tuesday as well.
That's right.
Monday Smash, 7 p.m.? Question mark?
Probably.
Subscribe to WarChant.com's YouTube channel. That's free of charge. Set your notifications. You'll get alerted whenever these shows do happen. Check out WarChant.com itself. Get involved in the conversation.
Oh,
the
one more
mailbag
thing
later
real
in the
quick,
week.
Aslan, before we go. I know
Yes.
nobody's listening anymore. Shout out to Florida State fans for that showing at Hauser on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And I say that because I was stuck up here. The crowd was great. It's James Madison. Friday night. I know it was nice weather, but it's not perfect weather. But still, great crowd. Literally one of the best fan bases in the country. And I say that because I'm watching Arizona State in their season opener because I was bored on Friday night. It was a close game. They're playing Omaha, which I don't think I knew that Omaha even had a university.
Uno, yeah.
And I'm watching the game, and I was like, oh, this must be a neutral site game because there's 100 people in the stands. And it's a close game in like the 7th inning. And no, it's a home Arizona State game. Arizona State's pretty perennial power. They've done some things in the sport. And they've got like 200 people there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dick Hauser is sold 6,000 people.
6,700.
6,700, 2 games in a row for James Madison, man. So really good, really cool. Braden Dowd said that when he was interviewed after the game about what it's like to be here. He's like, man, to be honest, I've never really played college baseball where I had a home field advantage before, a home crowd advantage. And remember now, Braden Dowd is not from Wright State or UTSA. He's from USC.
Yep.
And he's talking about not having a home crowd advantage. He'd never seen a home crowd like the one he saw Friday night for James Madison. Now, wait till you're playing Florida and Miami and some of these big series. But, man, that just speaks to the love of Link, but also just the fan base, man. When you give them a good product, Luke said this multiple times last week, when you give this fan base a good product, a winning product, they will support you. And this baseball is a good product, and it's really fun to have an atmosphere like that.
WarChant's a good product. So's Cummins.
It's a great product.
Subscribe. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening to Wake Up WarChant, presented by Cummins. Again, follow them on Instagram. CumminsLifestyle, all one word.